Hello, everyone. Scott Spradling once again, representing the World Affairs Council of New Hampshire and specifically focusing on the International Visitors Leadership Program. And I am happy and honored to be joined in this segment by Anthonia. She participated in the IVLP back in 2019, pre-COVID, when we had all kinds of easy access to our New Hampshire presidential primary system. She was here on a visit that was entitled The Will of the People, Elections in Democracies. And Anthonia had a chance to really get a bird's eye view and then a on the ground view of our New Hampshire primary, our elections, hearing from Republicans and Democrats in a very exciting presidential primary timeframe. Anthonia, thank you so much for joining us, and tell us a little bit about your visit to New Hampshire back in 2019. What was memorable?
Hello, Scott. Good morning to you, and thank you very much for having me on this program this morning. Thank you.
So, Anthonia, tell us a little bit about your visit to New Hampshire and what you remember as your highlights.
Okay, thank you. So my visit to New Hampshire was very brief but very interesting. To say that one of the states that I really enjoyed was New Hampshire, because I just love the environment and the whole activities planned out for us as visitors in New Hampshire were very interesting to me and very impactful, especially with the engagement with the political activities, the candidate activities, the town hall meetings that give citizens opportunity to have a direct conversation with their candidates or the candidates who were running for the elections. And so from my own country in Nigeria, we also run a democracy, but I could see a lot of differences with the processes I was seeing in New Hampshire, and it actually gave me a very good idea on how to engage as someone who works in area of citizens mobilizations to participate in the electoral process. So at first, I could see the need to have political candidates come face to face with the voters who are the citizens to have a conversation, to understand the needs of the people, and to also put out their manifesto to the citizens where they respond to citizens' issues and questions. And so it was really very interesting for me, and it gave me a very good idea on how I could actually go back and see how that could also be incorporated in the work I do back in Nigeria. And so I really learned that, and to also see how citizens were moved and eager to be part of it. Back here, you could see someone who would not even have an idea how this system runs or what it is to even participate as a citizen in the process. But coming to New Hampshire, everyone was interested. I remember there was a town hall we attended in the evening. It was a very cold evening for me coming from Nigeria, but I saw people came out, both old and young people, even mothers with their young babies coming out. That interest in the citizens that want to engage, and is very different when you coming from where I am. And so I really learned a lot, and it was very interesting to me, and it really helped me open my eyes to see how this goes. And then it actually influenced my own engagement back when I returned from the trip to Nigeria.
It's so exciting to know that New Hampshire voters and the New Hampshire process might have helped you in your job as someone who was helping with voter education and training election observers and helping with the Nigerian elections. Here we are 4 years later, and I'm curious, how are the Nigerian elections, which are going on now for you, how are they going?
Yeah, it's going very well, but not very interesting. For us, for someone who is working at the civil society space and having to convince or encourage citizens to participate in the process. And looking at the outcome of this election, if you're following the Nigerian elections, I am not very happy with what the outcome looked like. Especially with with the management of the elections, especially in the aspect of the results, the process. The new Electoral Act that was introduced in 2022, that was in February 2022, introduced technology to the election process and legalized the use of technology in the process, which actually was what we use in bargaining with citizens to say that, okay, at this point, the process is going to be free and fair because they are going to use a device that will bring credibility into the process and all of that. But at the end of the day, we saw that the commission, in terms of transmitting the result, it wasn't open enough and transparent, and all the citizens who looked up to see that they could use the process of that result collation, because the commission had a portal where citizens could go and access results from the polling unit level, which is like the purest state of where the election results come from. But at the end, the citizens could not get that. And so it made it difficult for us now going into another election to convince people to come out to participate. And so that's the state we are now. In as much as the election has gone, the people are not very happy with how the whole election is managed. So whatever the outcome is in the election, whether their preferred candidate won the election or not, it is very hard to defend considering the way the process actually of the process of collation of results actually went, was carried out by the commission. And so for now, we look forward and hope that on Saturday, citizens will actually turn out to participate in the governorship elections, which is the state level elections, and we hope to have a better turnout of citizens to participate in the elections come Saturday.
I wish you the very best of luck. And I think my final question is simply, were you happy to visit New Hampshire and the election process here in the United States for inspiration?
I'm very happy to visit New Hampshire. Like I mentioned before, New Hampshire was one of the states I really enjoyed. I could relate with a lot of things, and I easily could find my things that I wanted. Talk about the elections and the processes, the way we were walked through the process of elections, and the way the whole democracy and governance works in New Hampshire actually opened my eyes to understanding the process of the democratic process in the US. And to say that there are differences between how ours operates here and there, but I could learn some things that would actually help. I remember having conversation with my colleagues when I returned, and I shared a lot of things with them on how, especially with citizens engagement, and how we could incorporate some of my learnings from the states on designing voter education and mobilization strategies and information ahead of our elections. And since my return, we've had several elections because we have some off-cycle elections across the country.